Today we're watching Foundation Season 3, Episode 6. What did you think?
I gave episode 6 a 2 out of 10. It was a
Oof.
rough episode for me. Yeah, exactly. So the pros are the world building is cool.
Okay.
So mycogen are people that love mushrooms and they've named their place mycogen, and so they're part of Trantor is humid, steamy, makes sense.
Mhm.
Feels like a place that makes sense. Also pros is Demizy has these torture talents, unexpected, cool technology that are like her fingertips. She can read into people's brains, and makes sense given what she did back in the past when she was like a general in the robot army, that type of stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, let's do some cons. So the cons is this emotional music instrument. I mean, I guess that's okay because in the real world, emotions and music are tied together. You can pull some feelings out of people by putting the right like sad music in them, in their ears. However, it also feels very artsy in a sci-fi world that's supposed to be very mathy. So can we do mathy stuff and not have art stuff take over our sci-fi franchise? Like what are we doing here? There was also several plot holes, and not necessarily holes, but forced plot points, which to me, a
Okay.
forced plot point feels like it's an unnatural progression. It feels like the writer's like, we need to do this, just do it. For the story, just do it. But then also, it just feels like, why to do this? So, for example, they attacked Day when he was in Mycogen. And so if they said Cleon the First is almost destroyed us and we're never going to let it happen again. But if you kill a Cleon, if you kill a Day, then Demi Z is going to crack down even harder than Cleon one. And she might even destroy everyone there and just replace it with people from different districts. So why did they do this show of attacking Day if you lived in the world, if you lived in the universe, if you lived in Mycogen, you might have this hatred for Day, but you certainly wouldn't attack him like that. That seems crazy. Um, a more cons is that the mule doesn't have any rules. Like what is he capable of doing? What is he not capable of doing? And so on one hand, it feels pedantic. Why are you harping on rules? On the other hand, rules are what makes movies, not just sci-fi, but movies in general. Rules are what make the universe believable. What it makes it feel like that the audience can come along with. In fact, if you have rules that are, if you have these rules A, B, C, and then later on they're like, oh yeah, A doesn't matter, B doesn't matter, C doesn't matter. From an audience perspective, it's like, what happened to this universe? In fact, this universe is no longer a stable universe; it's a semi-stable universe. He's right now he's Superman without kryptonite, and so there's no drawbacks to him. And so Superman fully unleashed. If he didn't have kryptonite, then he could just do anything. He's like, he can teleport. He can exist in multiple times at the multiple places at once. Like there's just no limit. And so then you don't feel any of the victories when he does do something good because he can just do anything. He's like Captain Marvel and Ray, where if they need some power, just go ahead, here, have it. And so it really, for me, it really destroys a sci-fi universe, because I don't know where's the tension. If the enemy can just do, or the bad guy can just do whatever he wants whenever, then there's no tension to it. And so Foundation One in this episode, they say that the mule needs this musician. He needs this instrument and also the person to amplify his power to make him strong so he can influence people. But then on Terminus two, he's like, look at my ships there, or I've already taken over your ships. So he can still have his power to take over ships or for people from like in a large physical distance. Like, is there a range to his power? Is there a time limit? Is there any rules to how this mule has to behave? He's just hyper powerful. The problem with hyper powerful bosses is, from what I've seen, I'm not like a film historian or anything, but hyper bosses are the prelude to jumping a shark, or jumping the shark, like this television phrase where the show is on decline. The problem with hyper bosses, the bosses that are just super evil, super powerful, can do anything, is that how do you, as a writing team, get the good people to win? And from what I've seen, it's you write a gimmick. And so, for example, in Game of Thrones, you had the Frost King, or whatever his name was, the dead guy, the zombie guy, and he's like powerful, 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 powerful. What do you do? Arya does a knife trick. She drops the knife in one hand and grabs the other hand and stabs him. And on one hand it's like, yeah, but on the other hand it's like, oh, that's pretty cheap. It doesn't feel like there's a big buildup for something kind of you wrote in a get out of jail free card. You wrote in like a loop. What is this? It's like a sneak attack hole. This sentence, whatever. I give up on the sentence. It feels cheap, and I'm worried that Foundation is getting there. So I guess some predictions is maybe the mule is going to use his psychic power, and then it's going to get reflected back in himself. Like if he's so powerful, he can do pretty much anything as far as we know. The only way to get him to lose is to get him to attack himself. He's going to defeat himself. So Gale's going to have some reflection technique, or he's going to do something where he actually ends up hurting himself, and it's going to be Gale's plan all along. And to me, that feels very unsatisfying, dissatisfying, one of those. Overall, 2 out of 10, rough episode for me. Oof. What did you think?
For me, it was a 5 out of 10, solid average episode. Yeah, okay, I mean, I agree with all the points bringing up, but to me, that's been rumbling in the background for a while.
That's fair.
So I kind of haven't uniquely felt those problems within this episode. So for me, it's like an average episode, 5 out of 10. Some goods for me for this episode is the third crisis is finally here, sort of. It's sort of here because the mule ruined it with his, the third crisis planned out by Harry Seldon with psychohistory isn't going according to plan because of the mule. But I'm glad that it's finally here. There's some cool space opera politics. I enjoy that, even though I don't think they're fully, cohesive. I do like that. And I did feel the history is being made feeling somewhat during the third crisis starting.
Okay.
A little bit, not completely.
Yeah. No,
so that's good.
I'm with you.
But the flip side is I didn't feel like the epicness of it. I did feel a little bit of like, oh, okay, stuff's happening. This is cool. But I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, this is accumulation of all the things we've been watching. Didn't quite feel that. The mule, he feels a little bit too evil to me. The story is starting to become like a superhero versus supervillain story. Gale versus the mule. It's like, are we watching Marvel or are we watching Foundation? Yeah. What is this? And honestly, there hasn't been enough Harry Seldon in the show, and I'm glad I saw some of him. So that was nice. And the day getting love trapped, I felt a little cheap. I don't know why I felt cheap. Like he threw away his aura and he went down all exposed into a place he doesn't understand, and now they're shooting him. It's like, what is this? Mm-hmm. Why didn't he keep his aura? Why didn't he take a little bit of his guards with him or something? He has power. What is he doing? It feels a little cheap. Like this didn't have to happen this way.
Yep.
So overall, I'm happy the third crisis is starting. I'm disappointed in the episode and some of the storylines. So for me, it's an average episode, 5 out of 10.
Okay.